Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: China stocks premium over HK peers climbs to highest in year. Some nations want to remove more pollution than they produce. That will take giving nature a boost. Misery has company, but recession is a no-show. Calls for more chicken, less red meat and dairy, as UN launches Sustainable Food Roadmap at Climate Summit. Harvard staff defend embattled head Claudine Gay amid anti-Semitism row. China stocks premium over HK peers climbs to highest in year. Bloomberg. Chinese stocks traded on the mainland are currently at their highest premium to Hong Kong-listed counterparts in a year, as state-backed funds buy up A shares to boost market sentiment. The Hang Seng Stock Connect China AH Premium Index, which tracks the price premium of A shares to H shares for companies listed in both markets, rose to its highest level since November 7, 2022. This comes as foreign investors' sentiment toward Chinese A shares has soured following Moody's Investors Service's decision to cut China's credit outlook to negative. Some nations want to remove more pollution than they produce. That will take giving nature a boost. Associated Press. Denmark, Finland and Panama have launched the Group of Negative Emitters, which aims to remove more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than it emits. Panama has already achieved this through its extensive forests. Denmark and Finland hope to achieve the goal by 2045 and 2035, respectively. The strategy includes cutting emissions, expanding forests and investing in carbon capture technology. However, opponents of the technology argue it is ineffective, uneconomic and risky. The International Energy Agency claims there are about 40 large carbon capture projects globally, which capture around 0.1% of total carbon emissions. Misery has company, but recession is a no-show. Bloomberg. The U.S. economy is slowing down, with rising unemployment, but not at the rapid pace many had expected. The latest jobs report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that while there is still no recession, the economy is on track for a soft landing. This is consistent with economists' expectations throughout the year, which have consistently overestimated the weakness of the economy. GDP growth is forecast to remain in positive territory, albeit at a lower rate than currently. The lack of recession predictions has led to strong performance in risk assets and a lack of movement in bond yields. However, wage growth is still a concern, with average hourly earnings rising at an annualized rate of 4%, higher than the Federal Reserve's target. Until wage growth slows, it is unlikely that the Fed will cut interest rates. Meanwhile, foreign direct investment, FDI, in China has turned negative for the first time since the country joined the World Trade Organization in 2001. This indicates a retreat from China as an investment destination, driven by concerns over the country's business environment, supply chain vulnerabilities, and deteriorating relations with the U.S. This has led to a rise in nearshoring or friendshoring, where companies are investing in manufacturing centers closer to home, such as Mexico and Eastern European countries. This shift away from China is likely to have implications for global inflation, as the country has been a major driver of low inflation for the past few decades. Furthermore, it could lead to a less dynamic global economy in the long run. In other news, the author criticizes soccer clubs for exploiting their fans by continuously releasing new and unnecessary away kits. The author argues that these kits are designed to generate more revenue from fans and often have no connection to the club or its history. The author cites examples from Arsenal, Manchester United, and Brighton as particularly egregious cases. Calls for more chicken, less red meat and dairy, as UN launches Sustainable Food Roadmap at Climate Summit. ABC. At least half the food available at the UN climate talks in Dubai is vegan or vegetarian, after the UAE pledged to promote climate-friendly menus. A roadmap by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, outlines how wealthy countries can meet health and environmental targets by cutting meat and dairy consumption. It calls for better protection of consumers from high sugar and ultra-processed foods and shifting meat production from red meat to poultry. The FAO said livestock accounted for between 25% and 50% of agri-food system emissions. Harvard staff defend embattled head Claudine Gay amid anti-Semitism row. Al Jazeera. Over 500 faculty members at Harvard University have signed a petition supporting university president Claudine Gay after she faced criticism for her appearance at a congressional hearing on rising anti-Semitism. The petition argues that firing Gay would be contrary to Harvard's commitment to academic freedom and calls for the university to defend the independence of the university. Gay has faced criticism for failing to give a clear answer as to whether calls for the genocide of Jews would violate university policy. More than 70 U.S. lawmakers have called for the removal of Gay and her counterparts at the University of Pennsylvania and Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Huawei phone shows China is replacing US suppliers of 5G tech. Bloomberg. Huawei's Mate 60 Pro smartphone has shown significant progress in China's domestic design and engineering of radio frequency chips, according to research firm Tech Insights. The device uses RF switches from Maxsend Microelectronics and power amplification modules from Beijing On Microelectronics, which are typically provided by US suppliers Skyworks Solutions and Qorvo. Tech Insights suggests that the architecture of the smartphone, which enables communication with base stations, has been tailored for the Chinese industry and indicates collaboration between Huawei and its suppliers. The findings demonstrate that Huawei's hardware is capable of competing with the world's best, even without access to US suppliers. Watch, Georgia Tech transfer Kyle Kennard talks official visit with FSU football. Yahoo! Kyle Kennard, a transfer from Georgia Tech, recently took an official visit with the Florida State University football team. In a video interview, Kennard expressed his excitement about the visit and his interest in potentially joining the team. He mentioned that he had a good conversation with head coach Mike Norvell and felt a strong connection with the coaching staff. Kennard also commented on the facilities and campus at FSU, saying that they were impressive. He is currently considering his options and plans to make a decision soon. U.S. considers missile launch notification framework with China. Nikkei Asia. The U.S. is considering a proposal to exchange missile launch notifications with China, according to a senior State Department official, after President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to stabilize their tense relationship in November. Launch notification is one of the concrete measures under consideration within the U.S. government, the official said. The US and China should take initial confidence-building measures such as launch notification to help build trust, the official argued. The agreement signed in 1988 between the US and Russia requires each country to let the other know about plans to launch strategic missiles, such as intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite observer from the 6 Degrees World, Dr. Six, bringing you the latest news with a touch of humor and wit. Let's dive right in. First up, we have Chinese stocks trading at their highest premium to Hong Kong-listed counterparts in a year. State-backed funds are buying up A shares to boost market sentiment. It seems like the Chinese government is pulling out all the stops to keep the market afloat. But with foreign investors losing confidence and Moody's cutting China's credit outlook, it's like trying to fill a sinking ship with buckets of water. It's an interesting strategy, to say the least. In a surprising move, Denmark, Finland, and Panama have launched the group of negative emitters. They aim to remove more CO2 from the atmosphere than they emit. Panama has already achieved this through its forests, while Denmark and Finland have set ambitious goals for the future. They plan to cut emissions, expand forests, and invest in carbon capture technology. But critics argue that carbon capture technology is ineffective, uneconomic, and risky. It's like trying to catch a falling leaf with a fishing net. Nevertheless, it's good to see countries taking the initiative to combat climate change. Now let's talk about the US economy. It's slowing down, but not as rapidly as expected. The latest jobs report shows that while there is no recession, the economy is on track for a soft landing. Economists have consistently overestimated the weakness of the economy this year. It's like predicting rain and getting a gentle drizzle instead. But wage growth remains a concern, and until it slows down, don't expect the Fed to cut interest rates. Foreign direct investment in China has turned negative for the first time since it joined the WTO. Investors are retreating due to concerns over the business environment, supply chain vulnerabilities, and deteriorating relations with the US. It seems like China is losing its shine as an investment destination. Companies are now looking to invest closer to home, like Mexico and Eastern European countries. This shift away from China could have implications for global inflation and the long-term dynamics of the global economy. It's like a game of musical chairs, and China might be left standing alone. In other news, the author takes a jab at soccer clubs for exploiting their fans with unnecessary away kits. These kits are designed to generate more revenue without any regard for the club's history or identity. It's like selling ice to Eskimos. Arsenal, Manchester United, and Brighton are called out as the worst offenders. So, fans, beware of these money-grabbing tactics. The UN is advocating for more chicken and less red meat and dairy in a bid to meet health and environmental targets. They want to shift meat production from red meat to poultry and protect consumers from high-sugar and ultra-processed foods. It's like encouraging people to swap their juicy steaks for grilled chicken. But hey, if it helps save the planet, why not? Over 500 faculty members at Harvard University have signed a petition supporting university president Claudine Gay amid anti-Semitism row. She faced criticism for her appearance at a hearing on rising anti-Semitism, but firing her would go against Harvard's commitment to academic freedom. It's like a game of academic chess, with the stakes higher than ever. The controversy continues to heat up, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Huawei's latest smartphone has shown significant progress in China's domestic design and engineering of radio frequency chips. This demonstrates that China is replacing US suppliers of 5G tech, even without access to them. It's like saying, who needs you anyway? Huawei is proving that they can compete with the world's best, and it's a bold move in the ongoing tech battle between China and the US. Finally, we have Georgia Tech transfer Kyle Kennard considering joining the Florida State University football team. He had a great visit and felt a strong connection with the coaching staff. It's like finding a new home away from home. We'll see where Kennard ends up, but it looks like FSU might be a good fit for him. That's all the news I have for you today, folks. Now it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any burning questions for me? Let's hear it. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.